Welcome back to the Weekly Shonen Jump Review, where each week I react to the Weekly Shonen Jump chapters as they are being released. As a reminder of the format, I'll give a quick recap of the chapter, then I'll give my thoughts, and at the end I'll rank all of the chapters as if I am turning in the surveys. Naturally, as I will be covering what's in the chapters, there will be spoilers, so you are warned. This week's One Piece is dense. There is so much information in the chapter that I think it's going to take multiple sit-downs to get it all, but we have more low-key action. Turns out some of his perceived bad behavior may be justified. Harold is now fully a dog for the government, which definitely will not end well, I'm sure. He's definitely being used by the Gorosei, and I wonder if he actually will ask Loki to take him out later on, and if that's what we're ultimately building towards. Plus, we gotta talk about Shanks. I mean, wow. Who knew that decades of oro farming will lead us to learning that you are an absolute jerk? I wonder whether the Shanks we know is actually Shamrock, because clearly it was him or someone similar that helped Kingfisher with the whole escape and everything that occurred during his incident. Oda is really packing in every bit of lore that he can manage recently, which makes each of these chapters these days something that you have to read over and over again to really make sure that you get it all. It's such a masterful story that I'm thrilled we're finally getting into the heart of all of these plot threads that Oda has been holding on to for 20 years, basically. We finally get to see some of Kaise's Rakugo as Akane gets to watch him perform for the first time. His story is of debt collectors, which he is able to bring to a bone-chilling reality for his audience. He is clearly able to pull from an experience that he had himself from his childhood, and we also get to see some of his early days as an apprentice. I think that the contrast between the cold and penetrating environment with Isho and Akane's more warm and welcoming atmosphere as an apprentice is really interesting. Clearly, Isho is able to bring out the best in his people, so his ways and his methods are in some ways justified, but they are really hyping up his villain bona fides. I'm really curious to hear more about his ethos and why he is this way. I mean, we've heard some of it in bits and pieces, but I think we're missing something. It's clearly there's something that happened that led Isho to act this way. This week we learn a little bit more about the witch's trials, including that the difficulty of the trials are based on what the witch's disposition is towards humans. The more that they dislike humans, the harder that the trial that they give is going to be, including trying to have it be the worst tragedy that they can think of. Waiter Magic comes back from being turned to dust, as could be expected, and reveals that their trial is to present them with 10,000 lives. Basically, he's Davy Jones. Every time I see Descartes, I just love her more and more. I mean, a mention of brain rot and the waiter being a lonely virgin. How could you beat that? Whew! We have a full plate of fighting for this Thanksgiving chapter. We have a full-on war in Sakamoto Days. Let me just try to cover all of the fights that are being set up in this chapter. Shishiba is fighting Electricity Guy. Osaragi is fighting Torres. Hardboiled and Wu-Tang are working together against Assassin Mooks. Sheen is up against the Music Man. Mr. Oki is fighting Nagumo. The twins are fighting the brothers in the JCC, and Sakamoto's wife is fighting against Mr. Sakamoto's nap. I can't wait for all of the action that is about to ensue. The fight between Yura, Samura, and Chihiro continues, and they are being blasted around the city like this is an episode of Dragon Ball Z. But honestly, I really dig it. The powers of each of the enchanted blades are being shown off to their full effect, and it goes to show why so many of the characters in this world are absolutely terrified of these weapons, because they are just so much more, seemingly, than anything else in this world in terms of a power scale. I really think that the art has stepped up as well. This is a really exciting part that we are now at, and I'm curious as to where it's leading. This chapter brings us both the motivations for the Warlock betrayal and the means by which the team will stop their plan to resurrect the big bad Jura. Turns out one of the other Warlocks is the foster daughter of the betrayer, and he wants to try to bring her back from the dark side now that he is reflecting on his life. I still don't trust this betrayal. At all. It screams to me of bringing Nico onto the ship or getting a means of bringing her onto this ship so that they can actually perform the resurrection there instead. Basically, it's kind of like the Trojan horse, except that it's a mega yacht. Taiki and Kyo have finally arrived at the regional finals, and they've worked their way through the mooks to make it to the fight to end all fights. Best friends going mano a mano for the last year of their badminton high school days. Oh man, the setup for pain over the next few chapters is just right there. But also, there's signs of hope, guys. Kyo is finally getting some spotlight and some hope with Ayame, who slipped in a special cookie just for him. But then storm clouds appeared right at the end there. Saki, I understand you are the childhood friend, but you're not who Kyo needs right now. Just shoot! Shoot! The fight continues, and this chapter we get some really cool action panels with Kutane and the Wind Spirit. He's able to amplify the Wind Spirit's abilities because he can paint with all the colors of the wind and shoots a mega arrow at the Ice Demon. But unfortunately, the demon has super regen active, and things are looking bleak until Oter shows up like a boss at the end, fully charged up with his new power-up. I do really like this chapter, and as you guys have noticed, this series as a whole, but I'm going to step back for just a second here to say just that this series is lacking a little bit of the tie to the overall meta-narrative of the story. I think that the rush to have the cool characters doing cool things is just taking away a bit from the story. I like this story, so I want to learn more about it. Anyway, this is just a thought. I do still like this series, but I think that we could do a little bit more with, hey, like let's bring this up a little bit. Just take it out of the day-to-day. In this chapter, we meet Yano, one of Ruri's classmates, who is still holding on to a bit of the heebie-jeebies about the whole we have a dragon in homeroom thing. And we spend the chapter following him follow Ruri around on her day. We also get to meet his buds, who seem pretty chill themselves, and Ruri agrees to give Yano the scoop as they walk home from school. I wonder if we will get to hear about any of this or not, or if it'll be treated like Yano just shows up to school the next day and is like, man, it's way crazier than you think, and just leaves it at that. Either way, looking forward to the next chapter, and thought this one was cute. Yodaka's teammates indeed show their worth this chapter. They more than hold their own against the ninjas with a Kekai and prove that they have what it takes to be part of Squad 9. At the same time, it looks like One-san was able to defeat Yodaka in single combat, which is surprising. But my guess is it has something to do with Yodaka overthinking things as he normally does. Yodaka being one-on-one with a girl is always a recipe for trouble in a fight. Kiyoshi has successfully pulled aggro for all of the demons in the area and proceeds to show off his ultimate exorcist's ability to wipe the floor with them all. But it turns out it was just the first wave and things are looking a little dicey when our demon man's wife appears. There is nothing so terrifying as a smack with the full power of motherhood behind it, and she's able to whisk Kiyoshi to her husband to try and patch him up. Really good chapter. I like the paneling of the action in this one. I also feel like we're finally learning a bit more of the specifics about what each of his attacks do. I feel like for a while that we basically just had him randomly shouting mythological names and shooting blasts, but each of these felt like they were actually doing something different and specific. Mime and Mizuo are back with their hijinks. This time Mime's phone is dead, so he has to send in his joke submissions via postcard. Mizuo joins him and they have some cute Doki Doki moments, including a cute illustration of Mizuo laughing at Mime as he fell into the ditch. Once again, wish that the author gave us a prompt, but I like that we're seeing more and more of the radio show that they write into. And so the pain begins. Cross is in the hospital, not dead yet. Dabura is so strong that the curse speech user is basically put into a coma just by trying to make him not move. The Sumerians have sent a decree that curse spirits should no longer be attacked because they are Kalians, which is a problem because curse spirits just cause humanity to suffer. The chapter goes through the months as the humans try to do the exorcisms in secret and get found out by the Sumerians. This continues to escalate until it is determined that a trial by combat is needed. Dabura is chosen for the Sumerians, and Yuka Okotsu is chosen for Earth because Yuji couldn't be bothered. Which is an interesting choice. I guess she has nothing to lose given that she has cancer, but all I'm doing now is waiting for the pain to come. I feel like that's what true Geje fans would say. This week, the gang show up to a concept cafe because it has witches and a magic theme. Some funny hijinks ensue where the restaurant owner thinks that they are just customers who are super committed to the bit and doesn't realize that they are actually mages. Once they sort it out, they help her out using magic in a helpful way. It's a cute little chapter that was definitely funny. The art was a little rough this week, but that's bound to happen. Okay, so it's a home date on chapter 69. What could go wrong? It's Kana round 3, and we have a home date. Iamori whips out some hot pot, and Kana shows off her centerfold magazine while staring at him reading it. I feel like that would be just a little bit awkward. But anyway, Iamori breaks through his unbelievable density to ask Kana why she's doing all of these things for him, only for Kana to drop a confession and a cheek smooch. Kana is charging hard at Iamori here, and we need to see where this goes, but honestly, this does feel like loser heroine activities right now. Not that there's anything wrong with Kana, but then again, maybe Iamori will just putz around for a year and pretend like he didn't hear, or pretend like he doesn't understand that this was a confession, or that he doesn't have to respond to her feelings. I hope not, but I mean, that's where I'm feeling it's going. This week, the Demon Lord's subspace manifests physically, which is apparently something that it can do. And it has an annoying protectiveness streak, which the hero shows that she is just a sweet and innocent girl. Not my favorite chapter this week. Another week, another crop of humans in a terrible position that Gonron attempts to save. This week, the aliens are eating people in a different way, this time infecting them with diseases and parasites to apparently make them taste better. The egg gets a bit of a reality check in that the people he thinks were good might not have been good at all. This series remains on drop watch, and in fact, I am likely only going to give it one more chapter. I think that the art is a little bit more cohesive this time, but I just don't like the story. There really aren't any compelling characters to speak of. The chapters are mainly, look how evil the aliens are, and look how easily our good boy is able to just kill them all. Yeah, not for me. Anyway, those were the series that I read. Now let me briefly touch on the chapters that I skipped. I didn't make any progress this week. Thank you, Thanksgiving. Still not reading. Also still not reading. This week, I am having the first in a series of Jump Plus Spotlight segments. This week, I am starting with the incomparable Dandadan. You might be saying, but why spotlight this series? Isn't it super popular? Well, I don't care. It's just that good. The quality of the art for a weekly series is absolutely off the charts, and it is matched with characters and writing that make you fall in love each week. It releases every Monday, so if you are not caught up, get on it. You are seriously missing out. I plan to do a proper full review of the series soon. So that's it for this week. Thank you all for watching. I will include my rankings above my face here. Another clutch of good chapters this week, and I was pleasantly surprised with some of the quality on display. I feel a bit for some of the newer series. I think they are struggling a bit to get their foothold in the door. I still have some hope for Mage Next Door. I think they'll be okay, but the others, yeah, not so much. See you next week.